What's going on, everybody? Robbie here, and today we're taking a look at Transformers The Last Knight Legion Class Wave 1. And as you can see, we've got 4 characters in this wave. We've got 3 Autobots and 1 Decepticon. Now, as you can see, we've got some cool packaging going on here. We've got a nice image of the character from the film on the top here, and then an image of the vehicle mode of the character, or what have you, in some cases, except for Grimlock. And then, of course, Transformers The Last Knight logo here with a nice little class or faction symbol down here on the side. On the back, it just shows you 4 steps, which means I guess there are going to be, yep, there are instructions in there for this little guy. I don't think we will require those, but you can see on the back that. So we've got Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, Grimlock, and Barricade. And the cool thing is you do get to see all these nice character designs up at the top. The bad news for this wave is that they are all repaints of previously released figures. So we've got Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, which are re-releases of previous Transformers movie designs. And then we've got Grimlock and Barricade, who are re-releases of Transformers Prime, Ripper Snapper, and Knockout, respectively. So, kind of a bummer we don't get any new molds for this wave. But, it's not the end of the world. They are small figures, and it's nice to just have more, miniature figures to kind of just have on your desk to mess around with if need be. So, without further ado, let's take a quick look at the back of the packaging just to get that all set. And then I'm going to go ahead, get these guys open, and we're going to check them out right now. Alright guys, so here we have the Transformers The Last Knight, not Cyberverse, Legion figures. Cyberverse was the original movie when most of these first came out. But anyway, so let's take a look at these guys, and we're going to start off over here with Bumblebee. And honestly, he's probably one of the weakest, not because of the mold necessarily. You can see underneath there, a little Bumblebee. But because of the paint work here, we've just got barely, we've got some black paint here, which is nice, but the side windows and the back window and everything else totally left unpainted, just yellow blobs of color. And they even added a little splash of gold for that Chevy logo, but they just couldn't be bothered to add some black in on the windows, which is pretty disappointing, honestly. Transformation, super simple. Just go ahead and lift the arms out like so, out to the sides, just like that. We're going to bring down the the chest here. Now we're going to straighten out the legs, and then flip the feet down, and just kind of adjust the arms however you like. And there you have Bumblebee. And as for articulation, his head is in a fixed position. He's just got, solid stock arms that can't really move. And the legs are on ball joints here at the hip. And he does have a little bit of a knee here, but it's very, very slight and very impeded, and his leg actually bends more in the wrong direction, but whatever. It's a Legion figure, so I guess you can't ask for too much. but that's Bumblebee, and he'll just go right over there. Next, so let's take a look at Barricade here, and you can see he is a police car. And I know I said earlier I thought this was a recolor of Knockout. No, it's a recolor of Prowl. I was totally incorrect. It's, basically the same body shape, but it is a recolor of Transformers Prime Prowl. Hence the light bar and the spoiler and things like that were not present on Knockout. Well, I'm not the spoiler, but anyway, I'm going to stop talking out of my rear end. But so this is Barricade, just a little bit of white on the sides here, no indication that this is actually a police vehicle other than the light bar. And no indication this is actually Barricade. It's certainly not a Mustang of any kind, not even remotely. So, transformation on this guy, equally simple. We're just going to go ahead and pull these bits down. They're going to become the feet for the robot mode. We're going to bring the side panels out here. We actually want to bring this whole section out. I'm trying to remember exactly what. There we go. This whole section down is what I meant. And swing that right around to the front here. Now we can actually untab the arms and bring them down on the doors, which are going to become like wings. And we're going to swing these bits around here. And you just want to be careful when you swing those up and tab them into place. Because they are rather thin pieces, so you don't want to, don't want to risk damaging them. But they do have a small tab. You can kind of see it's going to fit just over the lip here on the door, just like that. Bring that down. Right down. The sides of the car hood are going to come down here. They have little locking points there, and then this whole section. It's just going to rotate down and to the back. And there is Barricade. Still with, well, I mean, it's basically Knockout's head there, or Prowl, or whoever you want to, whoever you want to call it. So, very, very much not looking like Barricade in any of his movie incarnations, which is really, really a bummer. And just the solid mass of blue, broken up only by these little bits of white on the sides that really don't even show up as part of the main body. It's very, very, very disappointing. They couldn't even add just a little splash of paint on these headlights or anything just to kind of bring a little bit of color to this character. But there you have it. Articulation is, he has a little bit of motion in his legs. He can flip his feet back and forth slightly, and his arms are on ball joints, so you can move those around. And that's pretty much it. And there you have Barricade. Moving on to Optimus Prime. Here he is. You can see his truck mode. The back is open up, but I mean, overall it's not a bad, it's not terrible. It gets the truck mode across in a very small scale. So for that, that's pretty neat. I don't believe I have this mold in any other fashion except for this guy right now. So that's kind of cool. So this mold is new to me, but it's certainly not new. I'm sure I've seen this figure elsewhere, but so transformation on this guy, we are going to grab these arm bits and kind of separate them out like so. Swing these pieces out to the side here. I'm going to bring this down and just peg it into the back, and that's going to reveal his robot mode head. And then we're going to bring the entire section down like this and swing it around, and then it'll peg in just like that. Separate the legs and then bring the feet down, and that's it. And in my head I'm like, that can't possibly be it, because there's just these big gaps in his legs. But no, that's it. That's his transformation. And so articulation, he has no head articulation. He's got ball joints in his upper arms. He does have an elbow swivel, so you got that going on his big, giant, beefy forearms. No waist swivel or anything like that. He does have ball jointed hips, and then I guess you could wiggle his foot at someone, just like that. And there is Optimus Prime. I'll just put him back there. And then finally, we have Grimlock, who does not look like a Tyrannosaurus by any stretch of the imagination. His head does not really want to stick. Well, it didn't want to stick together before. Now it wants to. So it just wants to be a jerk to me, I guess, which is fine. He does have a little wiggle in his forearms here. He has ball jointed legs, and I mean you can kind of wiggle parts around because they don't quite lock into place securely. So you got that going on. But transformation on this guy is fairly simple as well. We're going to go ahead and pull the back half of his body and the front half of his body apart. We're going to swing this piece up and lock it right there. Now these bits are going to swing around. Head is going to separate here, and then these bits are going to continue swinging around until they become the robot mode feet, just like that. And now this whole section, we're going to flip his robot mode head out like that, then flip this whole section up, and it's going to tab together up here at the shoulders, and then his robot arms can just kind of be adjusted like so. Now, as I said, this is a repaint of Ripper Snapper, but I actually do really like the color scheme on this guy. I think it looks pretty good, and I actually wouldn't mind an entire Abominus in this color scheme. So if they come out with the other Dinobots and they're just more recolors of the Abominus figures, I may actually pick them up. So articulation, he can wiggle his head around a little bit, just due to how that transforms. For the combination as well, you can see he still has the combination spot right in the back there. Arms are on ball joints. You can get a little bit of motion out of those. No waist articulation. He does have a ball joint at the hip, and I guess you can wiggle his toes around as well. But that's pretty much it. He also, oddly enough, I believe is the shortest out of all of these guys. Yes, he is indeed the shortest of all of these figures, despite being Grimlock. But yeah, I mean, overall, kind of a disappointment. I mean, it's always nice to get these little Legion class figures. They're always fun. But, you know, with all the revised and new character designs in the new movie, it would have been really nice if they just put a little bit of money into, you know, getting us some new, some new figures that kind of reflect that new design. But instead, we get a bunch of recolors, and they're not even recolors of, like, good Cyberverse or Legion figures. Like, this Optimus is pretty poor, honestly. Like, I would have rather had, you know, one of the closer to G1 accurate primes with, you know, a more movie style color scheme. But instead we get this guy who's all blue, except for the silver chest. This guy who's all dark blue, except for the white wings. This guy who is a little bit closer in color scheme when he's in robot mode, but it's just pretty sad overall. And then this guy who is supposed to be the biggest and is the smallest and is not a Tyrannosaurus. Like, they could have used, you know, Robots in Disguise Legion Grimlock and repainted that, and I think it would have been better overall. But you know what? That's just my opinion. It could differ from yours, but I really would have liked to seen at least one or two new molds in this wave, like a new mold for Barricade or a new mold for Prime or Grimlock, you know? The Bumblebee I could totally understand, but the rest of them, it just really gets me. It really just pokes me in the wrong way, you know? But that's my opinion. You guys are totally entitled to yours, and hopefully we'll get some more Legion class figures out of this movie, and hopefully they'll be a little bit better. So, in the meantime, thank you so very much for watching. That's going to do it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. It really does help me out. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll be back with more Transformers stuff real soon, so stick around for that. In the meantime, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.